Um, it is God, February here. Was today's 14th. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Where we are. God, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to get my head right here. It is currently 38 degrees outside. It's 94 degrees in the greenhouse right now. So we are definitely living our best life here. But with that, we're working on getting everything kind of set up for our spring garden. That's what we're gonna be doing here today. Is continuing our work on everything that we have going on here in the greenhouse. It is not something that we definitely it's not one of those things that you can just you necessarily need to have to do. Like, it's not one of those things that you can just you can't you necessarily. There we go. All right, got that up to speed. Just want to make sure I can see the chat. When it comes to working in the greenhouse and working in your garden, you can absolutely have just your summer garden. That's what most people do. They'll have a late spring into summer garden, right, where they have all of the stuff that grows typically throughout the year. Well, or my case, I like to be able to have a spring garden, a summer garden, and a fall garden. But in order to be prepared for summer and fall, we've got the springtime to do that. But to be ready for the spring garden, you've got to be able to start in winter, which is kind of where we're at right now. And I keep stuff growing in my greenhouse year round. It just kind of keeps me out here, keeps me fresh. But we're absolutely in the middle of working through and kind of getting stuff set up here. That's going to be for our spring garden. We have a lot of brassicas, like for instance, this kale that's growing here. Kale is something that absolutely does not like the heat, but it does really well in the springtime, right? In the cooler weather. But you've got to have it in warm weather to get it started. It's just one of those things. So if you want to have brassicas that are growing in the spring, you have to start them early in again, February timeframe as well, so that they'll be ready to transplant. Now, I'm up here in northern Michigan. We still have a ton of snow outside. We'll go take a look here in a second, but I have a mountain of snow that's still out there. It's been compressing, but we had almost 2 feet of snow as far as for a snowpack earlier. We were getting the weather's been kind of warming up, like I said today. A lot of sunshine. As you can see, I'm getting full sun in here right now. Like I'm in here in a t-shirt, which I have to be. I can't have my usual flannel or I have to come out here prepared to be able to work in 90-degree weather because that's what I have right now currently going with the sun with the greenhouse going. Okay. But with that, all the plants, they definitely like that as well. And they're excited, they're growing. So today we're gonna be taking a look at how some of our plants are doing. We had a few of our plants that got a little crunchy overnight, which is fine because I didn't cover them back up. That's cool. Not worried about that with these. We got other plants that are more mature that they're doing well. And then we're gonna get into I've got some transplanting on it. I've got to do on a few of our other lettuces that we have growing. We have some spring lettuces that have germinated that need to be transplanted. So we're gonna do that today as well too. So again, welcome everybody. My name is Ryan. I'm here in the greenhouse here in northern Michigan. I come here live all the time. And it's good to have you on here. So I hope to earn your subscription. And again, before that though, if you can just hit that thumbs up button, let me know that that again you like what's going on here, and it also pushes me out further to the algorithm. Also, if you hop in the chat for any questions or comments, do me a favor and make sure you let us know where you're from. We have folks from all over. Again, I'm in Michigan. Just let us know where you're watching from, okay? All right, so let's take a look at some of the stuff that we have going on here so you can kind of get an idea of what we have in the garden or we have in the greenhouse currently and the stuff that we're growing out here, okay? So we have a few different lettuces as you can see here, right? And I'm assuming this is going to be popping off for y'all to see this here. And these were started a few months ago. Some of them are doing well. You can see I got my kale. The kale is definitely doing its thing, getting big, getting set. It's going to do really well when I transplant it here into the garden in the next few weeks or so. Once I have my polytunnel up, I figure probably the first week in March I should be able to have my polytunnel. I've got to basically it's going to allow me to double my greenhouse space because right now this is 6 by 6 by 16, give or 6 by 7 by 16 to be and the polytunnel I have is 20 by 10 by 7. So it's the hoop house type thing you're going to have there, but I need the snow to be gone to be able to set that up. Okay. So with that, some other stuff we have going, we've got our Swiss chard. It's kind of doing its thing. It's getting started. We love that. Same thing here. We got a lot of goodness that is growing. These are all going to be delicious. I'm really happy there. I've got a couple beets. I'm testing different start dates for beets to see how they do. So I've got some Detroit Reds, just a couple here to see how they do overall. and their growth and as well. But we'll be starting a whole bunch of those as well. But it's got, you know, this early around Nebraska's. It's sitting up here living its best life. And like I said, we've got some transplanting we have to do. Show you what I have as far as first my onions that I have here as well. These are, again, everybody's going to get watered today, but you can tell, see that lean everybody's got? That's because the sun has definitely been kicking up here a lot more as well. But these guys are all doing really good. And these are going to be just green onions I'm going to have to be able to come in, just slice these up. And this was a test batch that I wanted to see as far as getting this started a little bit earlier here. So welcome everybody. Good to have you on here. My name's Ryan here in the greenhouse, and we're just kind of going over the stuff that I've got going right now. But these are green onions. This was a test. I wanted to get these kind of started earlier than normal to see how they do. And they seem like they're doing pretty well. These are late December. And these poor souls here are my red onions, the burgundy onions that they have. They got hit by a nasty bit of cold snap that came through, and then there was also some drought that occurred. I was sick for a while. There was a power issue, so I wasn't able to get out here like I wanted to. So all the drama that happened from that, okay? And that just happens. No big deal. But we got some more lettuces you can see here I've got growing. More of the style here, which is, more of that butter style lettuce. That's going to be nice leaves here. I always try to have hey, welcome everybody. Good to see you on here. Love it. Make sure you let us know where you're from when you hop in the chat here. So additional stuff here as well when it comes to the lettuce here is that, that's a springtime, that's cold weather. So these have actually frozen and they've done just fine. They've all bounced back. And that's one thing just to keep in mind is when you're starting your different plants and your different stuff that you want to have. She's the plant princess. Too funny. Sorry, you read it wrong. Okay. That's too funny. But anyways, we are, when it comes to just knowing what you're growing, and that's the things here. So like this time of year, you've got to have stuff that's going to be able to do just fine with your in colder weather, okay? And that's kind of where we're at. Now let's talk about some of the things that we do have started. We're actually gonna thin some of these out right now and give everybody a bit of water here. So these are, to make sure I got this right, so this is cauliflower. Here's our cauliflower getting started. You can see where this is all popping up right now. Looking pretty good. We're gonna actually trim some of these back right now as well too. I got them. So again, we're using the Organo Republic. Again, this isn't sponsored, folks. I just want to make sure it isn't sponsored. But we're using, all of our seeds are coming from the Organo Republic pack here. I have a video on this. You can go check it out on the channel. But I get this pack every year. It's really great. And it comes with these cool little shears too, which I really like. So you have to, she's the plant princess. Oh, interesting. Well, it's good to have you all on here. So one of the things that we're going through right now is I'm going to be actually trimming back some of these that I have that are growing out here. Now, what I did is I broke this up into sections. Everyone's kind of got their own little spot to hang out in. But we're just trimming these back till I basically got one per cell right now. So the big thing you want to have here, as soon as they come up and they start growing, you want to thin them back so you don't have this, too much competition going on, especially when they're getting started here, and especially when it comes to when it comes to your brassicas. Their root structure is kind of funky. When it comes to like where you're dealing with, there we go. Got more snow coming off of everything. So happy Valentine's, by the way, Valentine's Day to everybody out there, to those who celebrate. Excuse me. So the other thing too, though, is when you're thinning these out, you want to have that, like I mentioned, because of the root structure. Now, when it comes to onions, when I start with onions, I tell everybody just load your onions up. Don't worry about overloading your onions. Their roots, they don't tend to stick together. Brassicas aren't the same. They tend to intertwine. So we want to cut these back as soon as we can, as soon as it makes sense, so we don't end up with any sort of root structures that are all kind of getting bottled in there. Where did I go? There I am. Disappeared off somewhere. Okay. But yeah, so okay. So again, we got our cauliflower. It's all trimmed down here. We're gonna take a look here. I'm not gonna thin any of these folks back right yet, but this is spinach. You can see where the spinach is all starting to pop up now. Looking pretty good. We should have more and more of this stuff coming up here over the next little bit, but I do want to water them right now. Make sure that they are good. Excuse me. And again, I apologize for any coughing that I'm having to do here, folks. I am still I'm almost done with this cold. It has just been a huge pain for this cold, but I'm going to make sure give these guys plenty of water because they're going to be getting nice and roasty toasty today with it being 90 degrees in here. It is, whew, it is a warm one out. Now for this, this is my, make sure I got this here. So this is broccoli, and then this is, what do we got over here? So these are the Brussels sprouts. These are the broccoli. So yeah, the broccoli, it got a little cold over the other night, so some of it got a little bit roached here, but that's okay. That's okay, folks. That does happen. So we're just going to kind of give these guys a little more water. Make sure everybody's staying good and hydrated. It's definitely a problem right now this time of year because the trays are warming. It warms up in here. We go from hot to cold here pretty consistent, like, overnights here. I do have a heater in here. I do keep it above freezing, but it definitely does get bad in a hurry though. It does warm up in a hurry. So let me see this guy. I'm trying to look at this. Huh. Did I get that mixed up? I wonder if I got these mixed up. Because these seeds look like spinach seeds to me. Huh. I don't know. We'll know in a little bit once it starts growing out some. Again, when I was resetting all this stuff up here, I was kind of feeling a little sick too. So I wouldn't doubt that I mixed up a few of my plants. Happens a lot. So okay, cool. So there's those. These here I need to start looking at and check these out to see if I need to transplant some of these, and I think we will, so we can test this out. So folks, these are our different types of lettuces that we have growing out of here. The lettuces that we have, I've got them set up here. We have 3 different types here. So I've got arugula, I got Cimarron Red, and then I've got some Butter Crunch in here too. So you can just see the different styles that we have. So we've got arugula going. We have, again, this is Cimarron Red. So these red type of lettuces, everybody likes these. One thing to keep in mind, anytime you see that red, it means they're going to do really well in the cold. It's just one of those things that happen. Then we got arugula, like we were talking about. So we got the Butter Crunch, living our best lives here. So let's see what these look like underneath, because this is usually my tell when I got to start transplanting if I see anything popping out. So I don't have anything coming out here yet. I do want to look at the kind of what my root structure looks like, because I don't like to keep the plants in here too long if I can help it. I like to get them into a larger container. They're still pretty light, but let's pull one up here and see what if anything we can learn from the root structure that's going. Come on, buddy. Oh, there we go. All right. So let's take a look here, folks. So you can see we got a couple little roots popping out there. It hasn't really filled out too much, so it is still really juvenile in there. So we're going to let these guys hang out for a little bit. But I am going to transplant a couple of these here because it is important to make sure that I do like to test like the different times for transplanting these as well too. So we're going to do a couple just because I can. Take a couple of these guys that are more established, like right here, and actually, I'm going to keep you going. I think you're going to be just fine. Let's get you out of here. I think this one's going to get sacrificed. We're just going to go find one more small cup here. And I want to grab a couple of these over and transplant these over. Again, this is for testing purposes more than anything here, folks. Big thing on is, learning about the right times to transplant these over. Now, like I said, typically I like to have them a little bit more established, but I am testing out to see if, hey, move these over a couple, basically what ends up being a week earlier, what that does for the plants. Because I have found over time, there have been a few times where getting these transplanted over has had them, again, get established a little bit quicker, but I don't know, when that exact time frame is best. So this guy here has some couple natural leaves going. And that's what I'm gonna. One of the things that I'm typically looking for on when to transplant these is when I see the first like real leaves coming out. So like with any plant, right? When they germinate, when the seed starts to grow, oops, where are you? Talking here. They have their, basically just the seeds that are inside the seed itself that, they grow out here. And that's where you see these heart-shaped ones that are on here. See, they got that little heart shape to them, right? Those are the seed. Those are the leaves that were inside the actual plant itself, like the seed. And so that's grown. Well, now we're getting to the point where it's getting mature enough to where it's moving into seedling stage, to where it's getting its first natural leaves, which are the ones that actually grow off here. And if you can see too well, it's kind of hard to see, but there's definitely a couple. There's one set of leaves that are popping off right now, and that means it's got its first set of, quote unquote, real leaves going on. So we want to get this, see about transplanting this guy to see how that does for us. Okay, I'm going to move a couple of these down. They're getting pretty decent sized, so they can start being treated like their own thing now. They don't need to be in this. So what I do is I bottom water over here, so I'm not constantly deluging this or flooding these guys out with water, damaging the seedlings. I mean, again, they'll be fine, but anything we can do to try to keep the stress to a minimum while they're getting started, it's kind of where I like to hang out. All right, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna do one more. This guy right here. Again, just gonna straight drop it right in and see what ends up happening. Now, part of what I've seen before in the testing that I've done, right, with these, where when I've moved them into, hey Don, good to have you on here. Welcome. It's 90 degrees in the greenhouse right now, so we're living our best life. So one thing I've found consistently is that when I move these over, the growth rate that I'll have for something that moves over here versus something that stays in these 1-inch like little pods, these cells, these grow a lot quicker once they get established and get over here. And that's kind of the key. They've got to be established when you move and kind of be ready to go. You don't want to start your seedlings, germinate stuff in these pint cups. It just doesn't work out so well. It's just kind of a pain, you know what I mean? It's a whole lot of potting soil. It's a bunch of water you got to keep on it to keep everything hydrated. So I want to see if I'm going to do one of these too. I want to do one of these. So I got this different one going. I think we're going to do this guy right here. Looks like it's pretty in a good spot. But yeah, we are definitely enjoying the melt right now. I mean, enjoying it as far as like it's a little bit warmer. I'm just doing vegetables. I have other folks that grow the electric lettuce. I just do vegetables and flowers on this channel. Flowers, not flour. Okay. Avocado tree 6 years ago is loaded with. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's awesome. We love that. That's nothing like a little delayed gratification to get to that point. That's awesome. Got your avocados coming. So, so again, you can just see here. This is actually in a pretty good spot to be transplanting. You see where I've got the roots are popping out the bottom here. So that's what I'm in. Like I'm a little early on this, but I'm not too far. And that's really what we're going to be looking for is, especially when they're earlier like this, I don't have to do as much of the, as much time making sure and cleaning up the roots as I do if these go a little bit longer. So that's actually not too bad. I'm pretty good with that. Okay, so we got this one set up over here. We can move these down. But yeah, today was also kind of a big day in the greenhouse because we have our side open here. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I typically during the winter months, when it's December, January, and even that first little bit in February, I have insulation along this wall right across here. Kind of move this over so you guys can see. So along this wall that's right here, where this is blocked, because I have snow that's usually stacked up to about here outside. And you can see, we'll show you guys real quick outside here. Like the snow's still here, but we're getting some melting going on. But yeah, I've had the snow. It was, stacked up this high to where now it's not necessarily a problem anymore. So we can have, just with the bubble wrap, and I'll clean this up later, but it's just nice to be able to actually have this open So now we're getting even more sun in here, which is going to help with everything. But like right now with the door open, we're sitting at 70, excuse me, 75 degrees, which is great, which is right where we should be at, to be honest. So, but we're still going to have these overnights that are going to be down below freezing. So, you know, I'm still going to have this mostly covered off, have my heater running. That being said, I'm excited for the opportunity to get the polytunnel up and running. And that'll be going up here very, very shortly in the next few weeks. And once I have that up, man, we're going to be working in the ground. We're going to start getting some, getting our root vegetables in the ground, getting our lettuce, and these lettuces will be transplanted into the soil. It's going to be great. So trying to think, what else did I have? Today was really just coming in, checking up on some stuff. There wasn't too much I was doing. I wanted to come live though, and just hop on for some conversation with some folks, kind of keep everybody up to speed on what we're working through, kind of where things are at. And yeah, go with that. So 35 foot tall. I am not the guy. So I am not an arborist. I'm not sure what to do when it comes to avocado, one of those avocado trees, especially those things of that nature. I do not have enough advice for you on that. I would definitely reach out to an arborist. That's probably the person to talk to on that, to be honest. So, but yeah, that's really where we're at for today, folks. Like I say, today was really just, honestly, this went faster than I expected, this cleanup. We've got our stuff here with our brassicas. Next week, we're going to be doing a lot of transplanting on these. I've got soil, so we're going to be doing some soil sifting. I should be into my compost next week. I should be warm enough where I can dig that out. That's going to be great. That's going to be some work going out there. But yeah, I think we're in a good spot here, folks. I'm just so happy with how things are progressing along here. And you can just see for some of our lettuces that have been here for a little while, like they're really starting to get their feet together and building stuff out. Definitely digging it, folks. Yeah, this is great. We're doing so well. All right, well, with that, I'm going to take off. I'm going to head in. I've still got some more work I got to do with my client today. So, like I said, I want to come live, just kind of check in with the folks, see everybody. So with that, take care. And I'll be out here tomorrow. I've got some stuff to do in the yard. So we'll see you then. Take care. Bye.